Thursday, August 18th, 2026. And I'm making some breakfast. So I have the chia seed powder, the flaxseed powder already in here. And I have 2 bananas I'm just mashing up. Good morning. Next box. Good morning. Ma'am? Okay. Let's get some crunchy peanut butter in here.
I know how to give you your medication, but you know what? Calm down. I am gonna have to. You're stopping to the flowers. You're stopping to the flowers, Pac-Man. That's why I wanted to stop. That's why I wanted to restart.
From yesterday, I think. I think
As
so.
always, Pac-Man's mood stabilizers are there to the rescue. Hey, Pac-Man, once you get the, why don't you look to the right? No. Right there. Pac-Man. Buddy. Pac-Man. Pac-Man.
Oh, okay. It was like cycling. Okay.
Becoming smarter isn't simply about memorizing more information or being born with a high IQ. Intelligence is shaped by how you learn.
That YouTuber is called Hoot in the Dark. It was just a short. He was playing a game, a Pac-Man game, and I get the silly and Pascal. And yeah, he's just being funny. This is silly. I have no cashews today. It's kind of sad. I'll pick some up later. No cashews. Look at them. It's still yummy, but still. No cashews. I have some peanuts, but I'd have to shell them. And that's kind of crazy. I mean, no, I don't know. I guess I could try to shell some. Just so there's a little crunch. Okay, that should be enough. I should move on. Let's see what we'd be watching.
Solve problems, form habits, and respond to new challenges. With the right methods, almost anyone can improve the way they think and understand the world. This compilation brings together the most important ideas for strengthening your mind and becoming a more capable thinker.
Look at those big semi-trucks that you see driving down the highway, taking food from the processing plant to the grocery store. Hate to break it to you, those don't run on like good vibes and unicorn farts, right? They run on diesel fuel and gasoline. And when government hikes taxes on gasoline and diesel fuel,
Hello,
well, then
I'm
everything
Neat.
that goes
Oh,
on
nice
that
to
truck
see you.
from the processing plant
Nice to
to
see
the
your
grocery store
words. Welcome
gets
back.
more expensive too.
Thanks for visiting.
We're the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. Federation, and we are always fighting for lower taxes and less waste and more accountable government. It is
Yeah.
that special time
Good
of
to see
year
you.
where people are taking road trips, I hope, getting a little bit of downtime, I hope, and they're in the cars, they're in their trucks. Despite what the federal Liberal government told us all 2 years ago, we're going to staring to watch the planet burn, we should ignore politicians and try to enjoy our summer. But then there's gas taxes. Yeah, we pay big time when it comes to gasoline and diesel taxes, and that is why we nerds at the Canadian Taxpayers Federation sharpen our pencils every year, and we calculate what is going into your tanks tax-wise. We're going to go around the horn here because all of us are in the middle of like doing news conferences and talking to the media and letting people know how much they're spending in taxes. I'm going to start with you first, Noah, because this has generated some news. It's actually getting some traction in Upper Canada, and that is a good sign for changes happening in Ottawa. What's happening between Premier Doug Ford and Prime Minister Mark Carney on fuel taxes, Noah?
Well, Premier Doug Ford is recognizing that Canadians across the province, across the country, not just in the province of Ontario, are struggling to deal with the rising cost of living, and that a gas tax cut is a fundamentally sound way to help put more money in the pockets of everyday Canadians. But the problem is, Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to hike gas taxes back up on Canadians on September 8th. And Premier Ford recognizes that this is only going to add a lot of cost onto the backs of everyday Canadians. So Premier Ford, he decided to pen a letter and send it over to Prime Minister Carney, demanding that he, at the very least, extend his gas tax cut to the end of the year, but ideally make the gas tax cut permanent. Now, imagine if you didn't have to pay federal gas taxes anymore, and how much money you would save on a year-by-year basis. We actually have numbers for that, but essentially, Premier Ford is recognizing that people are really struggling to deal with the rising cost of living, and is pushing for Prime Minister Carney to get rid of gas taxes permanently.
Yeah, that's a really big deal. People would save a lot of money. Like here in Alberta, I'll give you an example. I've got my chart here because I've already done my Calgary media swing. I did the math, and if you're just driving like a regular pickup truck, like average size pickup truck, you're saving close to $15 every time you're filling up. If we had gotten rid of the Alberta fuel tax the way that we ought to have, because the price of a barrel of oil has spiked up. It's been up mostly since the beginning of March, and for a strange reason, the Alberta government just decided not to follow through on its usual law and promise, and they didn't drop the fuel tax. They just put through this silly, exactly, Carson. They just put through this silly $100 per person rebate. I'm going to go around the horn here in a second on what kind of responses we're getting on fuel taxes and our push to lower them. But I will say, I was at an event just a little while ago in Claresholm, which is a small town between Lethbridge and Calgary. I was speaking with John Carpe, and there was a few hundred people at this thing, and lots of people showed up at the mic, and they said, I had applied for this rebate because I'm working at a credit union, or I didn't feel comfortable giving over every single piece of my banking information to the government. Like, why don't they just give me the fuel tax cut? I thought that was a valid issue that was going on there. So Noah, just real quick, this isn't the last we're going to hear from you on fuel taxes, right? Like, I think you and Franco are even going on the road about this soon.
Yeah, folks will get a chance to see what Franco and I have got planned sooner than later, but essentially we're going on the road, going across Ontario to a few different stops to talk about gas taxes here in beautiful Gas Tax Honesty Month, but specifically talking about how on September 8th, Canadians have a sort of Damocles hanging over their heads, and that Prime Minister Carney is scheduled to hike these gas taxes back up on not just Ontarians, but Canadians from coast to coast. And if you want to be able to keep those savings that you're currently experiencing at the pump, it's important that everyday taxpayers across the country stand up and fight Prime Minister Mark Carney's planned September gas tax hike. And it looks like we got one of the biggest politicians in the country to join the fight against gas taxes. So it's a good first step to convincing Prime Minister Carney doing the right thing. Hopefully, Franco and I can raise some awareness around the province to really put the pressure on the Prime Minister.
Yeah, and just numbers-wise, for people who are like, oh, well, it's 10 cents per liter. Actually, if you're driving a family minivan, okay, super popular vehicle, family minivans typically have about 75-liter tanks. Do the math. If you times that for the whole year, so you fill up once a week, your family minivan, that's close to $400. $400 just by keeping this one excise tax off of the pumps. So that's why it's so important that we all get up on Prime Minister Mark Carney right now. Say you did the right thing, man, back in April. Thank you. Keep doing the right thing. Don't hike that gas tax back up. Gage, I saw pictures of you on the interwebs, and you were doing media press conferences and stuff with a very similar sign here. How did it go in Saskatchewan? What kind of taxes are you guys paying in Saskatchewan on gasoline?
Yeah, so it went really good here. I just got back to Saskatchewan from Regina today, but I want to put my economist hat on for a second to talk about what you guys were talking about there for one quick moment to highlight some things for some people. So the first one is, part of the reason the Premier's been said they're going to do the rebate instead of the gas tax cut is this myth out there that I want to bust, right? The Premier said, well, we hope that the gas tax savings gets passed on to consumers. We don't have to hope. Economic theory shows that's the case, and history shows it's true. The first one is I'm also in charge of Manitoba. The Manitoba government there cut their full provincial fuel tax for an entire year in 2024. Over the course of the year, Manitoba had the lowest fuel prices in the country because they weren't paying that tax. And the way to look at it for economics is simply this. So instead of thinking about it in the way of the price, thinking about it as the cost of the gas station. So essentially now gas is 10 cents cheaper for a gas station to provide gas to drivers, right? So any smart gas station owner is going to use those savings to cut their price. So when you're driving by, you'll see the lower price, you go to that gas station instead of the competitors. The competitors see it happening, they drop their price. price as well for people saving. So economic theory shows gas tax is passed on to consumers, and we have the history for it as well. So just talk about that.
Wait a minute, you're crazy. You're saying that cutting taxes reduces the cost.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone wants rent taxes, that makes sense, but it is terrible because it's a little bit of spending. So won't the companies just take this as extra profit and keep charging the same price? I think I can understand why people would think that. So it's so important to highlight the overall theory of why you're going to get those savings.
Sure, and I will point out that some people could pick that, of course. You know, you can think what you want. I'm just going to be blunt. Premier Danielle Smith shouldn't have said that. She knows full well that if you cut 13 cents per liter off of gasoline and diesel, that is going to be savings at the pump. Yes, of course, the price of a barrel of oil will come down.
Hey,
Okay,
Bluff
that's different
Max.
from the taxes. The
How you
taxes
doing?
are either there or
I'm
they're
all
not there.
finished.
There's no snuffle up against in between, right, Gage?
Yes, but Chris, actually, the best example off the top of my head is the Alberta government. A couple of years ago, before the Alberta government cut the gas tax and gas prices went down. It wasn't that long ago. People will remember that. So it's ludicrous that the government has decided to use this little rebate scheme instead of cutting the full tax when they do know full well.
I'm just about to head out. Just gonna start my day. I just finished breakfast. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Especially thank you for commenting because it gives me something to work with. Yeah, I'll have a sleep stream tonight if all goes well. And I think that's everything. So I'll see your comments in the next stream, the next live stream. Thank you for joining. Bye.